and then we will start with some other topics. Okay. So to introduce myself, I am Srikar. I have like a 14 years of experience as like into IT, and currently I'm working as a product manager for one of the analytics company. So here my main intention is to explain you about the complete process of the business analysis, how we will do it, and in terms of doing it, what are the different tools that we'll be using in our day-to-day life, and how to use it, and with what sort of people we will be talking in a daily basis, what will be our primary roles and responsibilities as a BA. So these are uh, the main concepts that I'm going to touch. And yesterday, like I have explained about the different topics, like we have discussed about what will be our course content, and why SQL is needed, and why API is needed, and what sort of tool we will be using for using SQL or API. So we discussed in detail in yesterday's class, and today let's try to further understand more about it. Okay. So before that, maybe whoever has joined newly, for them I'll give a brief about business analyst. So business analyst is just a role, guys. Okay. So as you have like multiple roles in IT organizations, like software developer, software tester, architect, right, and scrum master. So similarly, business analyst is just a role. Okay. And what business analyst will do? So business analyst will involve in identifying the business needs, like with the customer. So how he will involve and how he will gather, he will interact with the customer. So he will interact with the customer, and the main role of a business analyst to identify the problem statement, correct? So we will business analyst means like we will identify the problem statement, and then we will come up with a solution. So how to solve that particular problem, and so we will be coming up with some particular solution, and we will document that in the form of a business requirement document or in the form of epic or user story. And then what we will do, so we will ask our dev team and QA team to do that or to implement that particular implementation, and finally we will deliver it back to the customer. So this is the entire process that business analyst will be doing in a day-to-day basis. Clear, guys? I'll try to repeat. Business analyst will involve in identifying the business needs. Mainly, he will interact with the customer and also various set of people into that particular area, and he will try to understand the requirement. He will try to understand the problem statement, and then he will document it, and then we will be explaining that particular requirement to dev and QA teams, and finally we will get that done and we will deliver it back to the customer. So this is the main role and responsibility of a business analyst. But in this entire journey, what are all the tools that we will be using and how we will be using? So that is about the course. Okay. So in a nutshell, so you will be able to attend for the role of a business analyst or product owner by end of this course. So that is the main theme of this particular course case. Hope everyone is clear. So we will start with some new topics today, and we'll try to understand. So you can see this slide, the roles. So it is describing about the roles of a business analyst. So what I said initially, first we need to understand the business needs, correct? So we need to understand what sort of problems customer is facing, so why they wanted our help. So that is the main thing that we need to understand at the very first place. So that is the first step. And then evaluate options, which means we need to come up with some solutions. So it can be like two ways, guys. So either the customer itself can give the solution, hey, I want the application to be developed in this particular format. So they can directly tell to you, and it is easy for you, right? So if they directly tell you what has to be done, it is pretty straightforward for you, and you can directly go to your dev team and you can ask them to implement. So that is the first method of doing it. And the second option is they will leave it to you. Hey, I have this problem. You please come up with a solution, and you do whatever you want to do, you do it. So he will give a free hand to you. So in that case, what we will be doing? So we will come up with a solution. So how you will come up with a solution? You will talk to various people. You will talk to architect. You will talk to senior people in your team. Uh, you will talk to other project members and see how they have implemented for such kind of a problem. So you will do all this sort of analysis, kind of a market research, and then you will come up with a solution. You will propose a solution. So once you propose a solution, then the client will review it. Okay, so what is the solution that customer like that business analyst is proposing, whether that is good or not. So he will judge it, and if he feels that that is a perfect solution for that particular problem statement, he will give a free hand to us to start implementing that. So then we will get it implemented. Clear? So there are two options here. I hope everyone is clear. So the next one is, it's a pretty straightforward. It is like communication. So what is okay? Communication. What is communication here? So communication as in, so we need to communicate the requirements to your team members, technical team members. Yesterday I have explained who all will be part of the technical team members, right? So technical team members will consist of the developers, architects, leads, and QA engineers, correct? So we will be interacting with them frequently, and so we will engage them. So we will make them understand about the problem statement. So we will explain them about the solution, and then we will ask them to do the implementation about the new enhancement, right? So that is what is called as a communication. And the documenting the process. So in this particular journey, so you will be documenting it in the form of, you will be documenting the requirements in the form of a business requirement document, or you will be documenting it by using one of the management tools. So nowadays, like, no one is using the business requirement document. So nowadays, like, there are so many management tools. So I'll explain about that. Okay, so if you want me to list down the management tools, let me do that. Okay, so there are multiple management tools, guys. The very first one and the popular one is Jira. So in our courses, I will be explaining about the Jira from the scratch to the advanced level. So you will be able to write a user story. You will be able to start the sprint. You will be able to stop, end the sprint. You will be able to write the epic. So there are multiple things that you can do in Jira, guys. I will be explaining each and everything in Jira. So this is like a very important session, I can say, about Jira, because most of the organizations, Jira is being used in most of the organizations. And then Azure DevOps. So Azure DevOps or TFS. So earlier it is called as a TFS, which means a Team Foundation Server, which is owned by Microsoft, and nowadays it is called as a Azure DevOps. So this is also a management tool. And one other management tool, popular management tool, is Rally. So few organizations like they're using Rally. Okay, so there are various management tools, guys. Not only these three, there might be some other management tools or as well in the market, but mostly these are the three tools, popular tools that we have in the market. And in our tutorials, I will be explaining with Jira, because Jira, like, I can say 70% of the projects they're using Jira, right? So that's the main intention, like, of explaining the Jira with the practical session. And what you will be understanding in Jira: how to set up, and how to create epic, how to create user story, task, defect, etc. So I'll explain you each and everything, and how to start the sprint, and how to stop the sprint, how to create a dashboard, how to check filters or issues, how to run a sprint. Okay, so these are the things that you need to understand about Jira, guys. This is a practical class. Maybe from the coming classes, we will see this. I will use Jira. So Jira is a management tool, and there are multiple things to understand about Jira. So I will explain. I will start with like a very basic, like how to set up with the Jira account, and what is an epic, what is the differentiation between epic and user story, and how to write that, what content we need to include in that particular epic or user story, and how to create a task or defect, and how to start a sprint and how to end the sprint. Because I, okay, maybe this is too early to discuss about the sprint and all. So we will see that in our coming classes, like what is a sprint and why we need to start it, why we need to end it. So we will discuss. Maybe at the end of this class, today's class, you will come to know this because I'll be explaining about the methodologies and how to create a dashboard. So there are various things to learn about Jira, guys. Okay, these things I'll explain. Okay, okay. So before going there, let's try to understand SDLC today, guys. Okay, what is SDLC? So SDLC is a popular terminology. So everyone should have a basic understanding of SDLC. So you can see here. So this is very basic fundamentals of IT, right? So we need to understand like how SDLC will be implemented and what are the different phases that we will be having in software development lifecycle. So if you remember, so first what will happen, so the first customer will identify a problem and then he will come to a technical team and he will give that problem statement. So then what will happen, so your technical team will create a proposal document, correct? So your software team or your service based organization like IBM or Infosys or TCS, what they will do, they will create a proposal document, right? So that is the second step that will happen. So once a proposal document is submitted back to the customer, so and he will review that and he will okay that particular project, correct? So what, okay, so before okaying that, like what is a proposal document, guys? It's a bidding, right? So it's a bidding. Suppose if you wanted a government project, so what you will do, multiple organizations will bid that they can do like in this particular manner with this particular price within this particular time frame. So like that they will have various sections inside that bidding document and they will bid to that particular government agency. And what government will do, so government will review all those documents whatever was submitted to them, and then they will pick one of them, correct? Similarly in IT projects also the same thing will happen, same thing will happen. So suppose if I am a customer, suppose I am running like Walmart and I wanted a new mobile application. Let's say whenever the customer walks into the outlet, I should be able to do the self checkout, right? So nowadays like in most of the outlets they have an option of self checkout where they can only generate the bill and they can do the payment by themselves and they can check out with the purchased products, right? So maybe they are asking for an application for that. So Walmart is asking for an application to develop application development. So what will happen, they will give this requirement to various organizations like IBM or Accenture or like Infosys, TCS, etc., etc. So they will give this particular requirement to 5 to 6 different companies. So what they will do, so there will be an expert team like who will be having like minimum 5 to 6 people. So where they will come up with the proposal document and everyone will submit their proposal to Walmart. So in this case, what will happen? Walmart will review it, like who is proposing the idea well and whose idea is like a good and what is the budget. And so if everything is okay, so they will review it and they will finalize that particular customer. Like they will finalize, let's say they will finalize IBM. They will go with IBM. So then actual SDLC will start, guys. So hope everyone is clear with what is proposal. Now the actual software development life cycle will start after the proposal. Clear, guys? So now let's say they have okayed the project to IBM and IBM has actually started the software development life cycle. Means they started the gathering of the requirements for the self checkout application in Walmart retail outlets in USA. Got it right? Hope everyone got what I'm trying to say. Okay, so okay, now let's start discussing about software development lifecycle. So now the project is okay, and you know what is the project about and to whom you are doing it. Now actual business analysis will start this. So now BA will come into the picture. BA and product owner will come into the picture. So this is the very first phase that will get started. That is called as a analysis phase. Okay, in the proposal we already might have discussed about a problem statement and we have come up with some solution, but still, so again we need to start gathering the requirements in a detailed manner. So proposal is a very high level. So in analysis phase what started, so we have to gather the requirements in a very detailed manner and we need to talk to the various customers or like various users and then try to understand their problematic areas and how they want to see the application to be. So everything we need to discuss, and then we need to start gathering the requirements and document it somewhere. So that is what will happen in analysis phase, guys. Hope everyone is clear. Okay. So once the requirements are gathered, so then the designing part will start, guys. So this is the second phase in software development life cycle. So then the design phase will start. So in the design phase, who will lead this? It is not like led by business analyst or like product owner. So it is led by software architect or solution architect. So we will have a development lead in a particular organization or in a particular team, correct? So they will lead this particular team. So they will start designing it. So designing is nothing, guys, like they will come up with a framework. So what sort of technology has to be used, how many resources has to work on that particular project, and say say what is the expertise of that what of the team members, like if they are expertise in Java, or like if they are expertise in Python. So based on that, they will come up with a particular framework. So you might have seen the software framework, right? So okay, let me show that to you. If you want, I can show that. Give me a second. Okay, maybe you can consider this. So just this is just I copy pasted from Google, guys. This is not the exact framework, but try to assume this as a framework. So what your software architect or solution architect will do, so he will start creating a particular framework. So it is a pictorial representation. So that is what will happen. Like he will decide on what is the technology that has to be used, how many resources has to be there, and when the project has to be completed. So he will do some such kind of framework level design, and then the actual development will start. Okay, so this is the second phase, and then let's move on to the third phase, that is a development activity. So what is a development? So everyone might know that what development means. They will start developing that particular product, right? So if it is a self checkout application, so what are the features that we will have in self checkout application? So we will have an UI. So the customer will have a scanner where he can scan the products whatever he wanted to purchase, and then the price has to be detected, and the customer has to select the payment option. He need to check, he need to be able to add or remove the products from the cart, and then he need to be able to do the payment with the help of the credit card or with the help of anything, like with any payment mode, right? So and finally a bill has to be generated. So let's assume, so this is the product that we need to develop. So then the development team will start developing that particular application. So that is what will happen in the development phase. And the next phase is testing phase. Okay, so what is testing? Testing is nothing but the actual validation, guys. Suppose testing, what is the main role of a testing team? So their main role of a testing team is to ensure whether whatever requirements given by the business analyst is implemented correctly or not, whether the development has implemented all the requirements correctly or not. So that is the main intention of a QA engineer. So they will start validating the application whatever was developed by the development team. So that is what will happen in the testing area, guys. So this is the testing phase. So once the testing is done, so then what will happen? Then as simple as that, you will deploy that to production, right? So in IT world, we will have various environments. Initially, your development team will start developing in a dev environment. So we call it as a dev environment. So then they will move it to testing environment, and there will be a separate environment called QA environment, where your test engineer will start testing that particular application in the testing environment. And then we will have a various environments like UAT, and then finally we will deploy that to production. So what is a deployment to production? What is production? Production is nothing but it is available for the end users. Whenever you check in or whenever you walk into a store, to Walmart store. So there the devices will be there, the like self checkout devices will be there. So that is called that is what is nothing but a deployment. Okay, so which means you will deploy that feature, like whatever you have developed to the customer. Okay, so that is called as a deployment. And finally, maintenance. So maintenance, maybe you can try to correlate. Suppose if there is a glitch in that particular software, or if there is some gap in the requirement, and customer is trying to fill that particular gap, so then all those maintenance work will come in. Okay, so hope everyone understood, guys, with this particular use case, what is SDLC, like software development life cycle. So okay, we have multiple phases in software development life cycle. So the first one is once a proposal is kicked off. Okay, once a proposal is done, and once the project gets kickstarts, and then the actual analysis part will start, and BA will come into the picture and will do all the activities, and then your solution architect will design the framework, and all your development team members will start developing that particular features whatever was given by the requirement business analyst, and then the testing phase will be followed, and finally deployment and maintenance. So this is software development lifecycle, guys, in any project. So they have to follow this particular software development life cycle. This is in shortcut, we will call it as a SDLC. Again, this is one of the common interview question. Hey, can you please explain me about the SDLC process? So they'll ask you a question like this. So interviewer, I'm telling about the interviewer. So then you need to answer in this way. Hey, thanks for asking. So, software development lifecycle is a process of developing a particular product in various phases. So, once a project gets started, so then there will be an analysis phase where we will analyze all the requirements from the customer, and we will document it. We will prepare the necessary documents, and we will explain it to all the dev and Q team members. And so that is what will happen in analysis phase. Then there will be a design phase where the solution architect will design the framework or design the architecture, and decide on the technology that has to be used. And finally, the development phase will kick starts. And in the development phase, all the developers will start developing, like suppose DB developers, front end developers, API developers. There will be various developers in a particular team. They will start working on implementation of the project. And once it is done, so then the testing phase will start it, and in the testing phase validation will happen, and they will ensure the requirements and the application which was implemented by the dev team were matching or not. So that is what they will do. So they will check it, and once they feel that everything is good, so they will provide the sign off, and finally it will be deployed to the production environment. And once it is deployed to production environment, so we will have a maintenance or support phase, which is to fix the minor defects, or to take care of minor enhancements. We will have a maintenance phase, and there will be a dedicated team for it. So this is the SDLC process that we have followed in our project. So maybe in this manner you can explain that. Clear, guys? I'll take a pause. Let me know if